Welcome to another edition of the It's Cavalier podcast. It's your boy Mac. Tonight, our Cleveland Cavaliers took on the Phoenix Suns for the second time this season. And after three straight losses, this game represented an opportunity to do numerous things right off the bat. One, get back in the win column. That's first and foremost. Two, get back to good basketball habits, both offensively and defensively. Get back to your identities on both ends of the floor. Number three, get certain players like Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell out of their slumps. That wouldn't happen. Number four, sweep number 13 on this season. That was up for grabs. Something else that this matchup represented, it was the team's chance to earn their 27th road victory of the season, which would have tied the record for the most road wins in franchise history. Now, as I always do with most games, I like to write up a bit of a script about what I'm seeing over the course of a game, but I had to throw out most of what I had because this team is just absolutely struggling as of late. This trip to the West Coast has been absolutely brutal. And what better place to start than how brutal this trip has been for our resident superstar and Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell was absolutely atrocious tonight. He's been atrocious as of late. This, if you're watching over on YouTube, is his stat sheet, including his shot chart to the left-hand side. The stat sheet reads 7 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 2 of 18 from the field. That is 11.1%, ladies and gentlemen. 0 of 8 from three-point distance in about 30 minutes and some change of seconds. I mean, Donovan Mitchell was just horrid tonight from the field, and it's been all too, similar performances that we have seen over these last couple of games. This trip has not treated Donovan Mitchell well at all. Hell, the post all-star splits for Donovan Mitchell has been just as bad. Actually, no, not just as bad. This is fucking terrible. No other way to slice it. 2 of 18 from the field. You heard that right. That is unacceptable if you are the Cleveland Cavaliers. You cannot win many games when your best player, many people still consider Donovan to be the Cavaliers' best player. You cannot do that. If you look over to the right-hand side, you see all those X's over there. There are 16 X's and 2 O's. Those represent the makes and misses, obviously, and it just looks ugly as shit. If you're watching over on YouTube, I hope you're paying attention to the screen. If you're streaming via audio, do yourself a favor. Look at Donovan Mitchell's shot chart for this game. It is not pretty at all. This is going to be something that Donovan Mitchell is going to want to throw away. This is not a good performance. And speaking of bad performances, this is Donovan Mitchell post All-Star break. This is updated as of today. Post All-Star break across 13 appearances. Donovan Mitchell is averaging 23.5 points, 4.4 rebounds, 4.8 assists. The counting stats do not look terrible on the surface. But when you look at the splits, that is when things become alarming. He is shooting 39% from the field, including 28% from three-point range, and he is drilling just 81.4% of his free throws. And I know just saying it like just on terms of the charity stripe, the freebies, that might be reaching a little bit, but we're talking about a guy who's been really, really effective at the line over the duration of his career. So no, Donovan Mitchell has been piss poor as of late. Keep in mind, he's a career 84.1% shooter from three-point range. So this is nearly 3 percentage points lower in that regard. We've seen him miss more and more free throws as of late. And again, he's still playing his consistent 31 or so minutes per game this season, which is down about 4 per game this past season and his first year. So he's obviously averaging a career low in minutes, but there is no excuse why this man should be slumping this hard. And I checked, man. If you are a subscriber to the channel, you probably saw me release a video today on Donovan Mitchell's slump. And everything I said in that video basically was the case tonight. I mean, it's just been really, really rough for him. And I looked upon doing research for that one. Donovan has not really ever had a struggle like this post All-Star. Maybe his second season in the league in terms of three-point percentage, but we have not seen him struggle this poorly. We just have not seen that during his career. A career that has seen him do many, many things. Hell, on the season as a whole, Donovan has been terrific. If you're factoring in the entire season, this has been another all NBA caliber year. I think he will make all NBA. One of those teams he should, but I don't know. This has just been a terrible stretch of basketball for one Donovan Mitchell, and it was absolutely just terrible, just a terrible showing from him. And that's honestly what we've been getting from an offensive standpoint as of late, and it hasn't been much better defensively over the course of this post All-Star break. Of these post All-Star break appearances, he just has not been able to stop anybody out there on the defensive end. Today, prior to today's matchup, he was allowing opponents to shoot 52.3% from the field, which is nearly 10 percentage points higher than what he allowed folks to score or convert on pre-All-Star. So the defense and offense have just been bad. And I know it sounds like I am just beating the shit out of Donovan Mitchell right now. I know it seems like I am just going to town on him in terms of my criticism, but I'm sorry. I just got to get that out of the way. This has just been a brutal performance from Donovan, and it wasn't just Donovan, obviously. There were numerous people here in this one that could probably take a little bit of a blame, but Donovan was the biggest offender by far. And you look at the starting lineup in general, it felt like everybody struggled at points. Darius, although he shot 8 of 16 from the floor, 2 of 5 from three-point range, finished with 18 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. There were points tonight where I'm like, oh my God, what are you guys doing defensively? I time and time again, we saw that. Jarrett Allen only played 22 minutes tonight. I'm not sure what happened there. I don't know. Maybe one of you guys want to fill me in regards to what happened with him, but we just did not see him play too often tonight, it felt like. When you look at Max Strus and what he brings to the lineup, played his usual complement of about 24 minutes per game. That's right along the lines of where he's been at. And he was able to contribute 9 points, 4 rebounds, and some change. But it just did not feel like the starters as a whole really contributed a ton. I felt like most of the impactful production actually came from the Cavaliers' talented bunch of reserves, starting with Ty Jerome and DeAndre Hunter. Hunter and Jerome combined for 33 total points. They shot a collective 11 of 16 from the floor, including 5 of 10 from three-point range and 6 of 6 from the charity stripe. They were out there to play. In fact, Hunter was one of only 3 or 4 Cavaliers with a plus minus. You finished a +3 on the night with 17 total points, 1 rebound, 1 assist. And I felt genuinely like he actually wanted to be out there, unlike many of these other guys. I mean, you can throw Ty in that same category. It did feel like Ty actually came out there to play. But I know this is probably going to catch some flack, but I just got to keep it 100 here. A lot of people are asking why Sam Merrill was playing down the stretch. And I do believe that he played probably too many minutes tonight. But Sam, when you look at his impact, especially on the glass, Sam actually had 7 rebounds tonight. 7 rebounds and 4 steals, even when he is not shooting the ball well. And he did not. Just 2 of 7 from the floor, 0 of 4 from three-point distance. Sam was actually kind of key in the Cavaliers sparking a mini run or two down the stretch of that game. That's why he got some extended run. And that's where you saw the bulk of his minutes actually come from. Do I think that you can probably give some more of those minutes to Javonte Green or Isaac Okoro in a game like this? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, you have to see some of the ways that this man is impacting the game and why Kenny Atkinson has him out there. I think my question for Kenny would be the usage, right? The time. I think that in terms of the rotations, when he has guys like Merrill out there, does it make sense for what it's occurring? It did down the stretch because he was actually contributing positively on the glass and on the defensive end. I think that you have to acknowledge that, whether you like it or not. But I do understand the idea behind reducing his minutes for Okoro. And I ultimately agree in regards to that. I think Isaac Okoro and Dean Wade, DeAndre Hunter, guys like that, you have to make sure that they get healthy doses of minutes come the playoffs, because that's some of the best perimeter defenders on the team. They are going to be the ones that have to see the very, very tough assignments out there. Your Jaylen Browns, your Jason Tatums, your Jalen Brunsons. I mean, the list goes on. But at the end of the day, tonight, collectively, I just felt like the bench gave more than the starters. When you see Donovan go 2 of 18, you see that he cannot hit the side of a barn right now. It's disheartening, right? This road trip has just been brutal for a number of Cavaliers, but Donovan Mitchell is right up at the top there as he's just absolutely slumping. I mean, I already put the graphic on the board there. As you saw, Donovan post All-Star break is shooting 39% from the field, 28% from three-point range. In order for the Cavaliers to close out the season and keep that number 1 seed, and I don't think they're in danger of losing that. Let me make that clear. In order for the Cavaliers to finish strong, Donovan's got to start trending back upward. And I don't want to be concerned, but I mean, this is a 13-game sample size now for Donovan. It is worth noting. It is worth keeping an eye on, because you never really want to enter the playoffs trending down in this type of fashion. It's one thing to have a game or two where you're cold, but Donovan has now shot below 40% in 5 out of his last 6 games. I mean, it is brutal. And tonight, he didn't shoot above 20%. It was that fucking bad. It truly was. And I was expecting this one to be tough because KD, who we're going to talk about in just a second, and Devin Booker, these are 2 excellent offensive players. And KD doing what he's doing at the age that he's doing it is insane. This man dropped 42 fucking points on the Cavaliers tonight. If you're watching via YouTube, this is the stat sheet and the shot chart for the likes of Kevin Durant, who finished again with 42 points, 6 rebounds, 8 assists, a block, was a very efficient 17 of 29. This dude took 29 shots and made 17 of them. That is good for 58.6% from the field, including 4 of 9 from three-point range. That's 44.4% for you math folks out there. 4 of 4 from the charity stripe. I mean, he did this in 38 minutes. You juxtapose this with Donovan Mitchell's shot chart over here on the right, and oh my God, it just looks like polar opposites. You see a lot of green in there. There's some red. Don't get me wrong. He missed some shots, but he made more than he missed. I mean, KD was absolutely cooking. And there were numerous possessions where he just made a nice shot over really good defense. Sometimes you just have to see that your defense just ain't good enough to stop the offense that's coming your way. And Kevin Durant is one of those guys who's just tall enough to shoot over just about anybody out there, including Evan Mobley. It's rough. It's a tough thing to try and stop. And on a night where KD drops 42 on your head, I don't know what else there is to say. I mean, Devin Booker finished with 17 points. He was not nearly as effective, but he still was able to make his presence felt as a playmaker out there, dishing out 10 assists to go along with his 17 points. So he finished with a double-double on 7 of 17 from the field. That is 41.2%. And was 1 of 4 from three-point distance. Now, the real surprise to me, and we know what Kevin Durant can do. We know what Devin Booker can do. But the real thing that really irked me that I did not see coming was the play of some of the reserves for the Phoenix Suns tonight. When you're talking about guys like Ryan Dunn, and again, all credit where it's due. These guys they're talented in their own right. Ryan Dunn, I believe, is a rookie, right? 4 of 9 from the field, 2 of 5 from three-point distance. And that was the real thing right there. The the perimeter shot was really, really effective for the Phoenix Suns tonight. They shot 19 of 42 from the line, from beyond the arc. That's 45.2%. And they got just about everybody who played tonight knocked down a triple. It was insane. Ryan Dunn was 2 of 5. KD was 4 of 9. Devin Booker 1 of 4. Colin Gillespie, their point guard who started tonight and got 24 minutes of action, he was 5 of 6 from the field, including 3 of 3 from three-point range. Royce fucking Neal, this guy, 5 of 8 from the field, 5 of 8. All 8 of those goddamn shots came from three-point distance, 62.5%. That cannot happen. There were some shots. I don't hesitate to say that a lot of those were just failures by the Cavaliers to close out or rotate quickly enough. I mean, I don't know what else to say in regards to that. Royce O'Neal finished with 15 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists off the Phoenix Suns bench. You had Tyus Jones playing 25 big minutes off the bench, was 6 of 11 from the field, 4 of 9 from three-point distance. So as much as the Kevin Durant 42 and the Devin Booker 17 and 10 hurt, the reserves were probably surprisingly more impactful and when it all boils down to it. That was what really upset me. You can live with Kevin Durant absolutely cooking your defense. You can't live with Royce O'Neal going 5 of 8 from three-point range. You can't live with Tyus Jones going 4 of 9 from three-point range. You can't live with Colin Gillespie and Ryan Dunn combining for 5 triples on 8 attempts. That cannot happen. I mean, if you expect them to win, and the Cavaliers, they've been really, really, really badly. They've been performing really badly on the defensive end over the previous 3 games. Because this is the 4th loss in a row, but prior to tonight, it was still really, really bad. This is the Cavaliers' stats as a team over the last 3 games prior to tonight. They obviously were 0-3, 25th worst record in the 25th best, I guess. I don't know how that works, right? 25th best record, 5th worst record over that stretch. Just absolutely brutal out there. 123.5 defensive rating, which is 26, 112.6 offensive rating. That's 19th. A net rating as a result, 7.1, which is 23rd. Field goal percentage still okay at 48.1%. 3-point percentage 32.2% from 3-point range. That's 28th. And the rebounding, probably most glaring tonight, that absolutely showed tonight, 27th on the boards. That is pretty damn bad. I just got to call a spade a spade. I got to keep it 100 with you guys. 38 rebounds per game over the last 3. And tonight they would finish with 45. I suppose that is better, but when you consider the fact that Phoenix got 54, and probably the most worrisome part about that was the offensive rebounds. Cleveland would technically finish with 16 tonight, but the 12 that Phoenix got led to what felt like endless chances on, endless second chance points. And the stat sheet will say that they finished tied in that regard, 18-18 in terms of second chance points. It felt like Phoenix's were more impactful. It felt like Phoenix's were more timely. It just, this game just does not leave a good taste in the mouth. I don't know what else there is to say. Donovan has to be much better. Darius has to probably start carrying a little bit more of the offensive load if Donovan is just going to continue to stink it up. Evan Mobley has to continue to ascend, right? Mobley wasn't terrible. 16 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists, was 7 of 14 from the field, 2 of 4 from three-point range. Mobley did some nice things, especially down the stretch. So it's hard for me to really be angry with him. I thought he probably, of these starters, I thought Evan had the best game, followed by Darius. Max is okay. Jarrett, again, I'm not sure what happened with Jarrett because we only saw him for about 22 minutes or so of game time tonight. It's just 22 or 23 minutes of action. And maybe that's Kenny trying to, spark a little bit of a run, spark some change here. I don't know. Who knows? Who really knows? But I just did not get the feeling like the Cavaliers starters were going to carry this one. And you saw the bench really kind of try and step up and bring some much needed energy, because the energy was just lacking. I think I do think that the Cavaliers have some things to sort out here. I just, that is where I see it at. All I know is that the Cavaliers have to be better. You cannot go out there and expect to win games when Donovan is shooting that poorly. It is bad. It is absolutely atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. Oh man, just bad. And I think that's really probably the best way to leave it at, as it's pretty late here, and I don't really have any other takeaways from this one. Donovan was bad. The starters in general as a collective unit were pretty bad, outside of maybe Evan Mobley. And the rebounding still has been an issue. The turnovers, those continue to creep up. Cavaliers finished tonight, if I'm not mistaken, with 11, but Darius had 5. And they happen at the worst possible times. They just happen at the worst possible times. In Phoenix, for what it's worth, they absolutely shot the lights out. The defense has got to be better. And hopefully coming up against the Utah Jazz, I hope that it is. I hope this is another kick in the ass that they need. They got to wake up, as Mr. King 562 says down here. And I think with that being the case, probably a good time to hop into the chat before we head out of here. Rhetoric says, do you think they can blow the lead to Boston? No. So entering today's game, they had a 6-game lead on the number 1 seed. I do not think that they seed that number 1 seed. I think that they finish ahead, right? I think that they're not going to continue to lose the way that they have been, but it is still technically, mathematically possible. I just do not see that happening. Darwin Morgan says, has there ever been a contender team, let alone a championship team, that has lost 4 in a row in the regular season? Conversation needs to start about this god awful slump. I think that I saw some type of graphic earlier on that said the Cavaliers were the first team in NBA history, first team in 50 plus years to lose 3 straight after winning 16, but 4 straight. I would assume that they probably are the first team to do that. Who knows? Darwin also says, I'm starting to question if we are ready to make a deep run to the Eastern Conference Finals if we continue to play like this. I'm not necessarily there yet. I just think that they're going through a slump, and I think they need to clean things up on the defensive end. The rebounding has been something that has been hit and miss all season. It was a struggle earlier on in the season. Once they acquired DeAndre Hunter, the team rebounding actually got better. But as of late, they've just, especially during this losing streak, they've been terrible on the glass. It was better tonight, 45, and they managed to out offensive rebound the Suns at the end of the day. But there were far too many rebounds tonight where I feel like the Cavaliers were in poor position or just could not pull in the defensive rebound to end a possession, giving Phoenix way too many cracks at an offensive possession. I just felt like that was way too big of an occurrence tonight. LeSmooch says, I would have rather seen Craig play than Mitchell at this West Coast stretch. Something is bothering him. It may be the groin still. I know that's why he missed a couple of games, but pretty bad. Brilliant Damage says Hunter was awful on defense, gave up so many wide open threes. That was my one gripe with him tonight. I know that a lot of those Royce O'Neal triples came off of DeAndre Hunter's missed assignment, missed rotation, missed closeout. So yeah, I'll give it there. But Hunter tried to make up for that on the offensive end. He was one of the only Cavalier creators out there, and I consider him a creator out in the wing that was able to actually give the Cavaliers some type of offense. Seriously. Cavs Wire says worst loss this season. I don't think so, but it's right there. It is really right there. Mr. King 562 says this team is pissing me off. I gotta admit, man, I mean, we're staying up. If you're on the East Coast like I am, it is 12:43 a.m. as of recording this. I hate staying up like this if the team is just gonna lose. And again, I will try and stay up and watch them as often as I can, But at the end of the day, staying up this late and seeing a loss, it sucks, man. It sucks. Low-key idealist says nobody can guard KD, not even Hunter. KD is, one of a kind. I mean, I'm not mad if KD goes off for 42 and I'm not mad if he goes off for 42 and nobody else comes to play, right? Devin Booker was not totally efficient tonight. He was 7 of 17. He did hurt the Cavaliers as a playmaker, but the real damage outside of KD was done by the reserves, by the role players. I'm flabbergasted at how well that they were able to dismantle Cleveland. Richard L says Ohio isn't East Coast. Richard, I hate to break it to you, buddy, but I am in Maryland right now. That is on the East Coast. So hate to tell you, but Hostile Unknown says worst loss was the first one against Houston. Those DG free throws. Oh, that was a bad one. DG absolutely choked that game away. I know we all remember that one. That was a brutal loss. A brutal loss. Fetty says our loss to Houston is the worst. Not gonna lie, that game was it was in the bag. They had it. DG choked. DG has been one of the clutchest players in the NBA. He has been the clutchest Cavalier all season long, and he absolutely choked that one. We all know. D Jackson says the Suns were splashing 26-footers. Yeah. Yeah, it definitely felt like they were making everything that they put up tonight. Again, they shot 19 of 42 from three-point range. That's 45.2%. A large majority of that came from the guys you wouldn't expect. And when I say that, I don't mean that they're not great shooters or not capable shooters. I just mean that the bulk of that really just came from the reserves. Again, KD was 4 of 9, and that's one thing, but Royce O'Neal led them in three-point makes tonight with 5 of 8. And we know that Royce is a respectable shooter, but goddamn, five of them things, that's bad. William Hooper says, can't wait for the bad take saying that the Cavs are frauds. Yeah, I mean, people are coming out of the woodworks. You're already seeing that. Some of that probably in the chat right now. But people always wait on teams like Cleveland to fail because they hate to see small market teams win. Loose Mooch says, our worst losses will be the OKC and Boston ones. Honestly, no. I think OKC and Boston, they are among the top 4 teams in the NBA. I take no, although it looked bad, one of the, obviously that OKC loss where they got absolutely dismantled, that looks bad on paper, but it's fucking OKC. Losing to Houston, that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. D9 Ja says, let's relax. Geez, it's only 3 teams in the NBA with over 50 wins. We are good. I think it's okay to be pissed off about this one. I'll say it that way. They're on a 4-game losing streak. They're playing pretty poorly defensively. Donovan Mitchell can't hit shit right now. So while, yeah, we can sit here and say we need to relax. I think big picture, yeah, we gotta reel ourselves in and understand that it's just a 4-game stretch that the Cavaliers can overcome. But at the end of the day, this one was definitely worth being pissed off about. Sharknet says Mitchell is clearly injured, no ability to drive people whatsoever right now, needs a week off. He definitely got to get some time off. He don't look right out there. And if you listened or watched that video I put out earlier, I talked about the finishing being really the only thing that has buoyed his field goal percentage during this slump, right? And this is coming in a season where Donovan is actually kind of underperformed as a finisher relative to his other seasons where he has been a high level finisher. Coming into tonight, he was still converting over 60% of his shots at the rim, right? That tells me that he is still a capable finisher. And you saw him finish a couple of drives tonight, but that's all that it really was. He missed the majority of really wherever he took it from. He just missed. That's just the takeaway from this one. When you can't knock down that 3 ball, at the very least, you have to be able to drive inside, get some contact, and knock down your shots. If that's not the case, drive and kick. But you're not getting a lot of production out of him whatsoever. So I think that he probably does need some rest. And the West Coast trip is not helping things at all. Hostile Unknown says 4-game stretch loses you a series. In the playoffs, it does. During the regular season, I don't really think anybody's going to take that into too much consideration, considering the playoffs are all about matchups to begin with, and you're not playing back-to-backs, yada, yada, et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot of different reasons there. 4 games can lose you a series, but it's a very different environment. And the Cavaliers, assuming that Donovan doesn't play this poorly and they wrap some things up, and Kenny, I'm not gonna lie to you, Kenny kind of deserves some blame for some of these losses too. Against Sacramento the other night, some of the rotations, some of the play calls, I mean, it's a little questionable. And he started to lean that way tonight in terms of overplaying Merrill early on and not getting Isaac Okoro in the game early enough. Anytime I see Isaac out there entering the game for the first time midway through the second quarter, I have a problem, because in a game, in a matchup like this where KD's like cooking everybody, it doesn't matter who's on him, get some defense out there. Get your best point of attack defender in Isaac Okoro out there. It's not rocket science to me. He has to play more, and especially come the playoffs, I hope he actually does that. Man, it just it is one of those things where I think Kenny, he's been so good this season where sometimes I'm hesitant to actually question what he's doing, but there are sometimes clearly where it's okay to be critical. And I think it's been one of those things. Paramjot Sandhu says we also need to play Sam less. He just doesn't do much when his shot's not falling. This is the thing with Sam Merrill, and this is where it gets kind of controversial with him, because he had 7 rebounds tonight. He had 4 steals and 7 rebounds. That is not nothing. I think that when the shot is not falling, the reason that Kenny continues to play him is because, contrary to popular belief, Sam actually does do other things outside of shoot. The shot is just the best quality that he brings to the table. That said, Kenny has to figure out how to balance that, what Sam brings to the table, with Isaac Okoro and Javonte Green, and what they can leverage and bring to the table if you're needing more defense in any specific time in a game. I think Isaac should have entered the game. I felt like he should have entered the game earlier than he did, and that's really all that I can say. I think Merrill probably has his minutes cut come the playoffs, but I do think that when people talk about what he does and doesn't bring to the table, I think that people are severely overlooking some of the things that he does. I just think that the size at 6'4" limits how effective that he can be against specific teams, especially against teams like Boston. I mean, KD is 1-on-1, right? There are not many guys in the NBA that can do what he does. I mean, it didn't matter who was defending him tonight. He made shots. It just doesn't. But at the end of the day, you have to figure out, if you're Kenny Atkinson, when to pull Sam and place Javonte or place Isaac in there. And to me, that's what it's going to come down to in the postseason in terms of Sam's minutes. So and to the majority of people out there talking about Sam doesn't do anything else outside of shooting, I can't agree with that. I'm sorry. The defense, he has actually been quite adept on the defensive in this year. He just will have matchups where he has no chance. That's what it boils down to. Cameron Johnson says that's the point. He's a 6'4" that cannot dribble or defend, and we play him next to other weak defenders. What sense does that make? I'm sorry, Cameron, but I got to push back on that. I think people really need to go watch the film and look at Sam and how well he actually holds up. It's one thing to have the conversation of, oh, you're too small, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't defend this, you can't do that. It's a whole other thing to question how good of a perimeter isolation defender or team defender you actually are. Again, 4 steals tonight. He was really, really pivotal in kicking off that Cavaliers run to try and get closer into the game. He's 90 plus percentile in terms of screen navigation. He's really up there in on-ball chaser defense. And he actually is in the top 3 in the Cavaliers defensive field goal percentage ratings. He's a better defender than people want to give him credit for. I'm sorry to break it to you guys. It's just that he can be outmatched in terms of positions where he's played at. Sam is not a small forward, but Kenny opts to play him there at times. For the life of me, I can't wonder why. Right now, when you have DeAndre Hunter out there, who admittedly is playing more power forward than small forward, but you also have Isaac Okoro. You also now have Javonte Green. You have the options out there. So I don't know why Sam is playing more shooting guard or more small forward than shooting guard at times. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't know. That said, that's probably a good place to leave it at. As I always tell you guys, if you'd like to reach out to me, now you can. It's Cavalier_pod on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and more. If you want to be added to the It's Cavalier Discord chat, you know what to do. Leave a rating, leave a review, send a screenshot of said review to It's Cavalier53@gmail.com, and I will send you said invite. If you want to support the pod in a small but helpful way, consider becoming a member over on Patreon. The link will be in the description. You never know how much that helps out your boy. I hope the Cavaliers can figure this shit out soon, man. I do not want to see 4 turn into 5. That's all I got to say. That is all I got to say. Go Cavs.